Hey everyone, welcome back to the Solopreneur Survival Club. Today we are getting ready and starting to think about the reality that year end is coming. I know it's scary. It's usually about this time of year that I start getting frantic messages and emails of, holy crap, I haven't done anything. What do I do? So today we're going to talk about the 3 ways that you can track money in your business. So first off, before we talk about those 3 different ways that we can track money, I need to say there are 2 types of businesses out there. There's sole proprietors and corporations. Sole proprietors are essentially you. You're the legal entity. You're just operating under a business name and providing services. But at the end of the day, all of your business income and everything is reported on your personal taxes. If your business is registered as a corporation, your corporation is a separate legal entity from you. You have a social insurance or social security number. Your business has a business number. These are, in the eyes of the law, legal separate entities. You may be a shareholder in that business, and there could be tons of other shareholders in that business as well. But ultimately, that business is an entity all on its own. So, with all that, I will say these 3 options. The first option that I'm going to tell you about is only really something that you would do if you were a sole proprietor. And the other 2, you can have those choices regardless of your structure. So what is this magical first type? Magical first type is going old school, and you are basically just going to use spreadsheets. So this is the first one, spreadsheets. If you're a sole proprietor, you can absolutely just use a spreadsheet to manage the books in your business. For me personally, it's way too much manual work. But if this is the route you want to go, absolutely have at her. Really, with a spreadsheet, you can use Google, you can use Excel, you can use numbers, whatever kind of spreadsheet thingies out there, you can use it. The biggest thing that you need to be doing when you're using a spreadsheet to track your sales and expenses is to make sure you get all the details. So on a spreadsheet, if you're going to set this up for every transaction, so sale or expense that you have throughout the year, you're going to want to track these particular things. So you want the date, you'd want a name. So whether it's a customer, supplier, something so that you can have that reference point. So whether it's, Jane Doe or Staples, being able to have that there is fantastic. Description, so you can put in like bought pens or sale of widget to so and so, whatever it may be. You can put in a description. It just kind of helps to trigger and help you remember. You would want to categorize that expense, and if you're a sole proprietor on your personal tax returns, there's a set list of expense categories that you need to put everything into for your taxes. So my personal suggestion would be to use that list. I'll link to it in the show notes so that you can easily grab it and have that list to be able to use. Every single expense, you'd put it in one of those categories, and sales would just be sales. You'd want to put in the subtotal, so the amount without any taxes. Then you'd want to have a line that shows the tax amount, and then the grand total. So your subtotal plus your tax will equal your total. So the reason why you want to separate out the taxes from the total will be if you have to report sales taxes to the government, you'll need those things separated. Ultimately, this is a really simple way to track your money. All that is really required is you to do the manual data entry of it. So that gets to be a little bit cumbersome. It's super low cost. Google Sheets is free, so you can easily use it. And if you don't have a ton of activity or transactions going through your business and your accounts, it's pretty easy to do. It requires you to actually sit down and do it. It requires you to be keeping track and consolidating all of your receipts and stuff like that on a regular basis so that you don't lose anything. Unfortunately, there is a big risk of losing receipts, so losing data. If you don't put all of your expenses through 1 or 2 specific set aside business accounts, bank accounts, or credit cards, you're going to miss out on expenses. It can get messy if you aren't on top of it and aren't dealing with it consistently. One little side note that I'll say is if you want to use something simple like this, but want to automate a little bit of stuff, my number one favorite thing in the world to use is Dext. It is one of my key partners in my practice. I use QuickBooks Online and Dext. Those are going to be the ones that I talk about all the time. Dext, though, as a sole proprietor, we can work together. I can get you kind of the subscription. You can just use that to upload all of your receipts and expenses throughout the year, as well as any sales invoices and whatnot if you have them. And it will automatically extract all that data for you. And at the end of the year, you can just pull a report and it's magical like that. And it saves so much time and energy. It still does require you to have those receipts, make sure you upload them, but it eliminates a lot of manual entry and data entry work. So it's kind of sweet. If you want that, click the link below, reach out to me and I'll get you set up with a Dext account because our tax prep plans just make your life easier. If you're a sole prop, reach out. It's awesome. So that's the very basic way to manage some books. The second way that you can set up your books for your business is through free software. So there are some free programs out there, systems out there. The one that I know of and have seen in the past is called Wave Accounting. It has a great online platform that will allow you to connect up your business bank and credit card accounts, which is fantastic because that helps eliminate a lot of the misses that often happens with spreadsheets. So that's fantastic. Usually those systems will allow you to invoice your clients as well if you need to do one-to-one invoices, provides kind of some of that real-time financial tracking so that you can see if you're keeping up with it, your income statement and see what your profit is at any given time. For the importance of income statements, see my episode the other week about income statements, link to it below. The other side to something like Wave Accounting is that, yeah, there's no cost to it. So it's an easy transition to getting into a more robust accounting system. Now, the downside with something like this is that there's going to be limited functionality and support. You can only do so much. And it does require you to have some basic accounting understanding and understand how their system works. I've seen some big messes get created because people are adding things from the bank feed, but then also adding in the expense as an expense. And so there's a lot of double entry things that could happen. And there's really no access to any professional bookkeeping or accounting support without incurring additional fees. It's limited if you're able and wanting to do this yourself with zero cost to get going. It's a great tool. You just will only be able to go so far with it. If you're getting to that next level, that third option for how to deal with money in your business is really that paid accounting software. My number one go-to is QuickBooks Online. They are my preferred partner for all the clients that I work with. Xero is also another very popular accounting software that's out there. It's just not my jam. But both of them have a lot of the same features as what you'd find in the free ones. So they have like the real-time bank feeds. They have a lot of more kind of advanced features around categorization, project tracking, being able to send out POs and things like that. And they will integrate pretty seamlessly with a lot of the POS systems like Shopify or Square, things like that. And will also integrate with receipt tracking software like Dext, which is my other go-to partner. There is a lot more that they can do. And there's a lot more reporting and monitoring tools that are built in there that can help you along the way. So of course, the advantages of these softwares is, yes, they've got way more comprehensive features and capabilities. They are completely designed for owner and accountant use. They do have the same software knowledge requirements as something like Wave. There is a learning curve, but it's totally learnable. And there are a ton of accountants and bookkeepers that can support you, and you can invite them into your accounts and they can manage things for you as well. So there's a lot more opportunity for people to support you in those. And of course, all the integrations and customization that you can do in those systems take it to the next level. Downside of these softwares is, of course, you got to pay for them. QuickBooks Online is anywhere from $20 to $100+ depending on how you're getting the subscription and what level of the plan you need. The other side of it is, yes, it totally requires knowledge of accounting principles and knowledge of the software and things like that, but that's the same as Wave as well. Again, my personal preference is QuickBooks Online. I think it's super user-friendly, and for me, it works perfectly. If you are working with an accountant, we can get discounted subscriptions. So I highly suggest going through someone like me, or it doesn't have to be me, but going through an accountant or bookkeeper that has access to those discounts so that you can benefit from them. So there you go. Those are the 3 different ways that you can be tracking your money in your business. My go-to, as I mentioned, is QuickBooks Online combined with Dext for the receipt tracking, because I will say this one last little piece. It is critical that you have all of your backup documents for whatever you're including in your books for your business. If you ever get audited and you don't have those receipts or bills, they will claw back those expenses. And so having some way to keep those receipts together and legible is going to be very important. The feds have up to 7 years to audit you. And in those 7 years, the chances of you losing receipts, of receipts fading away, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but you leave a receipt out in the sun and all the ink disappears. So the chances of that happening, things getting destroyed, misplaced, just thrown out, are super high. I've had it happen to me. I've had it happen to clients, and trust me, you don't want to be in that situation. So having a way to securely store those receipts for that time is going to save you a lot of stress and anxiety. Choosing the right tool will really depend on your budget and your capacity to do the work. It is important, however, to choose a system and implement it. So whether that's you doing it or finding and working with someone that will do it for you, these are important things to get set in place so that come tax time, you're not freaking out. As always, if you need any help with this, just reach out. My info will be in the show notes, and I would love to help remove some of the stress from you. All right. Have a great week, guys.